Mike's Daily Podcast.
Right about the time I thought, I'm not going to be able to do another podcast for a couple of days because I'm going to take a break, they pull me back in.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And now I'm doing a show for you because someone called in sick, and then I come in and it's early, and I'm here and I'm looking really burly. No, I'm not, because I didn't go for a walk yesterday. You ever do that thing where you're all into something, like working out, and then you suddenly stop, and then you feel like,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
What was the point? And then you get down on yourself. But you can't get down on yourself. Because you need a day off.
Daily.
You need a week off.
Podcast.
You need a year off. So eventually you need to get back on. But it's good to take some time off, is all I'm saying. But it was not a day of just laying around watching TV. And I got to watch no TV yesterday because I was at the lovely Costco in Podcastro Valleyville. Actually, Danville. But we are here in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. We haven't been here in a while. And here we are once again.
Whoa.
It's very nice to be here. I was not...
But all my life, I've heard that decisions are much different when you sit behind the desk in the Oval Office. In other words, when you're president of the United States.
So when I'm behind the desk here at Cafe Anyway, it's a whole new thing. It makes me go, why? And we take it from there. I haven't had sound effects on the show in a while, huh? Now we have sound effects again. What do you think about the sound effects? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast shall hopefully be for a couple of days. I will be at radio stations. Instead of working from home, I will be actually at radio stations for the next 4 days. So I'm going to be pretty busy. And now...
And here's today's podcast picture.
The podcast picture for today. I've got one I'm all set to tell you about in just a moment. But first, on my way into work today... So many things I heard about. I heard about something to do with Wisconsin, where like the Wisconsin Supreme Court said, no more stay at home. Let's get out. Let's enjoy. Let's socialize. Let's give each other a virus. I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. But we are back. Everybody in Wisconsin is going. Basil, he's going outside and saying, I don't miss it that much, and then going back inside. But the podcast picture today, I think I will pull right from a trip that I took. Basil, the boxer, was not with me. But we had a great time, my mom and I. And this was 5 years ago in Florida, Daytona Beach, Florida. And I think we'll take this picture. There's this amazing... my mom lives in such an awesome place. And I really miss her, and I need to go visit her, especially post Mother's Day. But, in fact, I'm looking at this picture now, and I realize the last time I went there, I went right after a hurricane, and I think this dock is gone that I'm looking at, unless they rebuilt it. But this cool little spot... Actually, the last time I went there with my mom, it was so hot. Oh, I want to go on a trip right now. I'm almost in tears right now. I need to get the hell out. I need to get out, is what I'm saying. That's how I'm feeling. Rather emotional. About getting out and enjoying the wonders of the outside, as we were discussing a little bit last show. Outside. Being outside. So that's in the podcast picture. See it at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Also, in other news, so the Minnesota order has ended. The governor, Tim Walz, in Minnesota. So we talked about Wisconsin before. Now Minnesota is loosening stay-at-home restrictions. Okay. And then apparently Trump called Dr. Anthony Fauci's caution on schools reopening not an acceptable answer. So some people are discussing why maybe we should come up with a school year that prevents us from being all together in class when the viruses or flus are usually at their worst, the peak of the seasons. Would that help a little bit? That's a possibility. Then the Pentagon has inked a $134 million deal to buy PPE for nursing homes. Personal protective equipment for medical personnel at more than 15,000 U.S. nursing homes after so many people had died at nursing homes. And it was the final episode of Seinfeld aired on this date in 1998. Often, when we discuss Seinfeld, we discuss the legacy of the four main cast members. Your Michael Richards, your Jerry Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus seems to be the one that's won. I mean, she's still pretty relevant, had a hit show, a couple hit shows. Seinfeld's got his driving in cars with comedians, drinking a bunch of coffee. Although, has he done any new episodes of that? And what about the future of TV? Oh my gosh, I was rolling in today, as this show is basically what Mike heard on his way into work today. The whole thing about how are they going to film stuff now? Because generally, making a movie, making a TV show, requires people to be in close proximity with each other, especially when there's a kissing scene. For years and years and years and decades and centuries, just about, we have had stars kissing each other. And the only people that had issues were like the people that were romantically involved with those stars. I saw you kissing Madonna today. I'm not jealous or anything, but you were kissing her. I don't know who that was supposed to be, being jealous of who the other person was. I don't know, but cafe, I don't know. We're outside a cafe anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. So yeah, there's going to be, before it was all about the actor. Oh, I'm only acting. I'm not really kissing that person.
Oh, behave. Yeah.
Yet there's all these divorces in show business, so someone's getting jealous. In fact, I watched 2 documentaries that were on YouTube. I think they were documentaries made in the 90s, probably for the Biography Channel? The History Channel or something. One was about Lon Chaney Jr., who he was the Wolfman in many movies, and he became this star. His father was Lon Chaney Sr. Yes, you figured it out yourself before I could tell you. The Man of 1,000 Faces. Apparently, he was the Phantom of the Opera. That pivotal scene in that silent movie when the lady removes the Phantom's mask and you see the horrible disfigured face. That was Lon Chaney and his amazing way to contort his face for the camera. He was able to contort it, and he was a master of makeup. He always told his son, don't get into show business. Well, Lon Chaney died of, I think, throat cancer or something to do with something like that in that general vicinity. And so Lon Chaney Jr., who had a different name at the time, and he took the name Lon Chaney Jr. so he could get work, he said, I'm going to now get into acting because I love acting. He actually had a plumbing service for a short while in Hollywood. So he goes out and he begins this career. He really found himself, though, when he did horror movies. And he became this icon. Boris Karloff, of course. I yet have to watch the Boris Karloff documentary. But then Bela Lugosi and Rob Black, who I'm going to be producing his show today, he had a funny joke, where I thought it was funny anyway. We were talking on the phone, and he said, I think instead of giving out masks people to fight off COVID-19. We should give them capes. I go, capes, but that's on your back. How's that protecting your face? He goes, no, but you walk around with the cape like Dracula, where he puts it over his mouth and he goes, I want to suck your blood. But then he would, if he tried sucking your blood, then he would get the COVID-19 if you had it. It doesn't make sense.
Oh, my.
It's kind of a, yeah.
Right.
So what happened with Bela Lugosi and a couple of the other stars was they would just have to do all these horrible horror movies. Look who's out here at Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley right now. Hello, Michael Mash, it's Madame Rootabega. I have been following this podcast today. It's been wonderful.
That's terrible.
Did you enjoy my story about Lon Chaney Jr.? Yes. Did you totally get the point of me telling that story about Lon Chaney Jr.? Yes. Do you know who Lon Chaney Jr. is?
What are you, nuts?
No. And then look who else is here right now.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, I think your story about Lon Chaney Jr. had to do with outdoor equipment that you put in your backyard and you put it by the lawn, and there's a Chaney Jr. there. Oh, snap.
Probably. Maybe that had to do with it. That's what it was. Do you know that? Thanks, guys. Okay. I'll get... You know what? Maybe next show I will remember the point that I was trying to make about Lon Chaney Jr. About how he had to change his name, possibly. Or about how Bela Lugosi got hooked on... Oh, so Lon Chaney Jr. was apparently a drunk. He drank too much alcohol and basically killed himself that way. And then, see, Bela Lugosi killed himself with taking too many pain meds he'd take the injections to fight off the back pain that he had. So the strong stuff he was addicted to there. And if you ever see the movie Ed Wood with Tim Burton and Martin Landau playing Bela Lugosi, you see what he went through. So that they both met their demise. Boris Karloff, I'm not sure how things ended for him. Boris Karloff was Frankenstein, Bela Lugosi Dracula, and then Lon Chaney the Wolfman, Werewolves of London. And that's the end of the show. Enjoy the podcast picture from Florida. Enjoy your day. Next show it'll be the wonderful Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. What do you think about all these topics? You can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6MM as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast will probably be for many days to come, it would seem. You can let me know and check out the website with more on that. Here's A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!
And that was episode 2037 Find out more at MikesDailyPodcast.com.